Oh, we haven't said that. Put your hands together for uwaoma.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. You can't have a room filled with this level of young people and not have energy, high energy. Like I said yesterday, we're trying to build the kind of world we want to live in. If you're a writer, you write the kind of book you love to read. Am I right? If you're a singer, you sing the kind of song you love to listen to, right? So my name is Eizu. I run a firm called Xavier. You see, right? You know what's most important in this name, Xavier? You see an exclamation mark, right? Every time we write Xavier, we always put an exclamation mark. If you're a printer, printing shirts, complimentary card, poster, and you mistakenly forget to put that exclamation mark, we're not paying you money because it's important to us. It's the energy, and you know when exclamation, it's not just, it buttresses a verb, right? Come here. If you put the exclamation mark, come here, you know it's a different level of audacity. Because we want to create the kind of world we want to live in, we think that what's really missing in our generation is a lot of people, and when I say our generation, I'm referring to people who were probably born in the 80s, 90s, right? And that makes up a large form of this. I feel like that's what's missing in our generation. It's why 70-year-olds can still govern us. We have a sense of, there are two sets of people who are very timid, and then people who are too grateful. The two have disadvantage. So I'm too timid to stand up for what is right, or I'm too grateful. You know, you can be in this room and you're too grateful to be here. All you just want to do is make sure they don't chase you out. You know, that's where most people are in life. People who, on 31st of December, when they go to crossover service, they're just grateful that, I didn't die this year. You know, they ask, what do you achieve? What is your greatest achievement? They say, alive. You know, they're just alive. So why am I talking about this? I don't have that much time, right? But if I had 30 minutes, 1 hour, right, what would I talk about today? It's really about the power of dreams, right, and hunger. I know this is not your typical aspire to perspire. I've spent 10 years doing technical work, real technical work. I'm on my third master's. I started business at 21. Me and Dr. Stephen go way back, right? So, over the last 10 years, we've restructured at least 128 businesses. We serviced 128, including GTEx. I'm part of the longest serving management consultant in GTEx, right? He made a statement yesterday, and I jokingly said, please don't say it again today, because every time he likes to introduce, he say, Eizu almost is like my co-founder, because we were here from day one, and I always laugh and say, please, so they don't kidnap me thinking me and you are on the same level, right? I have done a lot of technical work, and I've come to the conclusion, I've done all that complexity, that dy dx, by default, my first degree is mathematics. Nothing can be that technical, right? And I had very good grades. In my team, as in Roof a few years ago, we agreed that you can't work in our team if you don't make a first class, at least. At least, that's the key word, at least. So you most likely should be the best graduating. And I just met her for the first time today, right? And I said, you know what, because she was trying to apply, what's your current CGPA? Do you want to share? What? 4.57. So I'm like, but what's 4.57 again? That's the first class. I'm like, okay, let me even meet up with you. Now, why am I driving out with this? That's how much the technical is important. But after 10 years of putting work, I've stepped back to realize that before you discuss technical challenges or try to solve a technical problem, there is a baseline that must be sorted out. It's like, no matter how technical a software for running a system is, you know, softwares. So, one of the technical softwares will be AutoCAD, right? AutoCAD is quite technical. No matter how, pardon my French, how badass AutoCAD is, okay, if OS is not working, OS, Microsoft, that operating system, if it's not working, forget it. Right? And it's something I'm realizing every single day, right? So we start up with the technical, right? And then you climb up to the management, and then you climb up to the board. This is the ladder of corporate Nigeria. You start up technical, so for you to get a job, you must be technically sound. So if you're trying to get a job in, what's the technical company we have worked with? Okay, Sinotruck, right? Sinotruck, that's the Dangote Sinotruck truck. Dangote produces his own trucks, right? Their factory is somewhere very close to Obakran. You start up, for you to work here, you have to at least have a 2-1 in engineering, technical stuff. You must show that you are a mechanical engineer, but to climb up the ladder, you start to develop more skills that are not technical, which is management, right? And then you go up to become board. Each of these levels demand different level of skill sets. Maybe this is climbing up the corporate ladder. Maybe for some of us, maybe we're not interested, but this is also how life works. So I can still draw it again. Instead of calling this technical, I'll say this is you physically. This is you mentally. And then this is your spirituality. So here's what I'm saying. The same thing I've done for 10 years, same thing people do here. That you do this so well and you don't get results. I'm sure we know a lot of companies that they're the best at what they do. They are the best at what they do, but guess what? They're still owing salaries. They can't make money. Or you know that guy when you were in school who is so super smart. Matter of fact, he's so smart to cover his work in exam. 10 years, you ask him how far. You expect that if life was linear, he would be the most successful. But guess what? Matter of fact, when you go back to school, go back home, look at your secondary school yearbook. That yearbook. Then check those guys that used to sit down in front. Then check whether they are really the most successful. What am I driving at? There's something deeper in making it beyond the Y, the X. And it's so simple that we forget. It's like what happens in life. You struggle, you hustle. You are so smart, you're hardworking. You know those things they tell us to do. Go to school, get good grades, you get good job. You went to school, got good grade, but can't even find job. You come to a conclusion that there's something fundamentally wrong. You go back to the basic. At that point, maybe, what's the height of spirituality? You probably say, there's a God factor. Because it would not make sense to some of us here till in the next 20 years, when we realize that, no, there's a factor. Dangote cannot be the smartest. Right? So what am I driving at? Today's commission is really about that. OS. The way the universe works is the universe allows you to determine how far you can go. Your dreams and your vision. So no matter how much you struggle, no matter what you do, the universe is still looking at what is your maximum attainable level. There's a formula for it actually. LPV, MAL minus MPL. Sorry, my maths degree is coming back small. Maximum attainable level, maximum potential level. In other words, your lifetime performance variable, that means what your lifetime performance variable, that's the highest you can have, is a function of this. In other words, if this is 10, right, there's no way your result can be 11. In other words, if your biggest, let me bring it back home, if your biggest aspiration here is to pay house rent, it makes it almost impossible, except those few outlier cases, when you buy a house in Banana. Because you don't close your eyes and imagine buying a house in Banana. All you just want to do is just pay rent. So what's the trick? The trick is increase this. So that's why we're talking about dreams and vision. And I shared something yesterday, and I'll just share it quickly again. I had just 5 minutes. Yesterday, I told them a story about the lion and the gazelle. You know, the lion and the gazelle, everybody knows the story about the lion chasing the gazelle. The lion runs, the gazelle runs. Naturally, people don't realize that the lion is a very interesting animal. But guess what? The gazelle, by default, doesn't have the capacity to outrun the lion. But most of the time, right, we don't see this a lot in National Geographic because them too are trying to sell market as media. So they don't show you the part where the lion missed to catch the gazelle. So maybe lion chases 10 gazelles, fails 9 times. The only one you see on National Geographic is the one that the lion caught the gazelle, because that's the action that they used to pay the bill. But what happens that most of the time the gazelle runs faster than the lion. And people always ask the mystery, because if you put the both of them together, the maximum attainable level clearly shows that the lion actually can run faster. But the main thing is the same thing. Their dreams, what they aspire for, that keeps them, they put running, right? They put running. But what they are running for is what makes the difference. What you're dreaming for makes the difference. So the lion is running for what? He's running for meal, food. Lion is running for food, but gazelle is running for something deeper. Running for life. Can they run at the same level? That's the point. Am I talking to somebody here? That's the point. When you wake up in the morning and you don't feel like waking up, which is where Nigeria, a lot of Nigerian youths are, and technology makes it easy. Technology can keep you 2 hours after you wake up. Just say, let me check my notification on Instagram. You can be there for 2, especially if you follow Instablog. And you follow, I don't even know who these guys are. I've not had Instagram on my app for probably 4 years now. I have a colleague who manages my social media. But this social media helps you. And then you turn off social media and you turn on TV. It complicates your case. What makes you wake up and know that you don't have to touch Instagram is still the same thing. What are you chasing? Whether you're here as a side hustle or you're here as a main hustle, same dream. I think most of us live lives like, and I've also been, I hang around a lot of young people. I wouldn't even take the credit. I'll just say it's God's grace that I found my purpose quite early. Not a lot of people who start a business at 21, way before I left university. But I also found out something that was really critical. And Tesla is not an automobile problem I was trying to solve. The Tesla. He's actually trying to solve a renewable energy green problem. But that's not what his passion is. His real passion is in SpaceX. And I like that idea. Once again, he's a function of his maximum attainable level. His vision is out of this world, literally. That's a very good time to say, both literally and metaphorically, is out of this world. His vision is not in this world. It's literally out of this world, because he's trying to get more people to live out of this world. I don't know if you know what the passion of the SpaceX is the world is getting too compact, right? At some point, they want to decongest Earth. Right, so they're trying to build a new world in probably the moon, Mars. Matter of fact, the craziest one is the human finally touched down on Mars last 2 weeks. And then they realized that there's going to be a problem. And the problem is that Mars is too cold for humans to live in. He's already thinking like a madman. They're trying to blow up Mars with nuclear weapon. That's how out of the world they're thinking. This is so they can blow up Mars with a nuclear weapon, so that they can alter the ecosystem, right? Because that's how the dinosaurs died, if you believe in evolution or you understand evolution. Because when they blow up nuclear weapon, the temperature is going to rise. It's literally going to rise, so the temperature is going to go from minus to at least human nature. Does that make sense to us? How big can you dream? Now, the person who dreams that way, and the person who just today just wants to make a living, which is where we are, you can't be on the same level. And guess what? The both of them will fail at intervals till they reach there. But here's the thing. Even if they fail and he fails, his failure will still land on your success. Am I talking to us? So either way you win, first, you don't go to jail for dreaming too big. I haven't seen anybody that said you're hereby sentenced to jail for dreaming too big. So there's no harm. The worst is that they'll laugh at you. I mean, that's the worst case. It's still good. Now, if we're all going to fail from our dreams, because everybody sees success stories, I mean, Dr. Stephen would tell his success stories a lot, and I've always been his devil's advocate, like the guy who is like opposite. Or sometimes always like, because we have these board meetings, I sit on those board meetings with him, and he's like, Eizu, you're supposed to be my guy. You're always attacking me. So I'm here to say, okay, so Dr. Steve, when you tell them about this whole success, also tell them the times you failed. Because the reality is we will all fail consistently till we get it right. So here's the good news about this big dream thing. Since we all know we all fail, let's dream so high that we will still fail, but when we fail, we land on everybody's success because their success level is low. Am I talking to somebody here? If you don't get this right, and we sit down here and break down differentiation, integration, competitive advantage, backward integration, forward integration, we sound very smart like we went to Harvard and Stanford, you will still struggle because you haven't gotten this right. That's really the conversation. I feel like on the last day, God will show us this formula. Maybe he won't say it like me. This is what you were destined or created to be. This is destined to be. This is what you actually is. If I was to draw LPV, it's because MAL, right, minus MPL. If I was to draw it again, when we do function of a function, right, X is a function of Y, right? F of X is a function of Y. If I was to replace this, sorry, calm down. If I was to replace this and I put it in normal terms, what you're seeing here is what you're destined to be, and this is what you are actually become. I feel like on the last day on earth, this is what's going to happen. God will bring this guy, bring this guy. This is you when trumpet blows, for people that believe that we're going to hear banana, right? Or when you die, either way, that's the two ways that is sure. Is either you die or trumpet blows. I feel like on that day, when judgment happens, God will bring these two people. This will be us. And he'll bring this guy. You know who this guy, who you ideal supposed to be. And he will show you. There's a word called sin, S-I-N. Christians use it. It's actually, the original word is Greek. Sin. You know what sin means in Greek? To lose a mark. That's the meaning of sin. Sin is called to lose a mark. On the last day, sin is you lost the mark. The person you are, right, will be introduced to you by the person you could have been. I feel like that's the real hell. That's the real hell. On the judgment days, this is who you are. So who are you? What do you do in life? Tell me, what do you do in life? I paid rent, I paid school fees, I gave back, I fell in love, I married somebody, and the cycle. Because there's nothing extraordinary, because if there's 1,000 people, 900 will do the same thing. So there's nothing extraordinary. I don't think God created us so we can just come here, go to school, primary school, secondary school, university, you're done. You get, most of the time, we didn't even get that, go to our ideal university. So life starts to throw at you. Those people that they gave, you wrote jam, then they gave you, and I was going to have Dr. Stephen, but he can chase you out of here. I say, they gave you a suit. Right, they gave you a suit. Ogun State, you went to a suit, then you wanted to read mechanical engineer, then they gave you physics. The less giving, they gave you physics. Then, you wanted to read mechanical, they gave you a Greek engineer. This is how the cycle starts, right? They gave you, and then because they gave you, when you reach there too, it's not what you're passionate about. You just read anything. First semester, when the results come, they give you E. And that E cycle starts for 4 years. Then when you're graduating, they give you 2-2. Then you come out, because your confidence has been dented over those years of, you now think that excellence is something too far off. You've dropped your bar. First of all, your vision was even low. Then circumstances, every time you fail, if you don't get right your priorities, it reduces your self-esteem. People don't realize it, that this is why abusive women end up in abusive more. When abusive women break up, they marry somebody else that's abusive too. Because it now looks like it's normal. When abnormal things starts to feel like it's normal, you're in a worse state. There's these stories all over. Like, you see this all the time. So, you're bad. So, you feel like life, you can't get anything. Life has to give you. Because all through life, life has given you. They gave you Greek economics, they gave you this school, they gave you 2-2. Even when you see the ideal girl you should marry, boy, girl in church, you don't feel like no. So you're waiting for the one that they give you. And so your mother from the village comes and gives you wife. You see how they gave? You now create this whole cycle of generation again, that when this was dating them born, God gave me. They didn't carry it, God gave me. They call it sex. It will not be sex. Right? So you see the whole cycle, then it starts all over again. Is that the best way to live? I don't actually think so. Now, how do we now change this thing? Having understood that this is how we got to where we got to. This is also what we got to in Nigeria as a country. Because don't forget, they gave us Buhari, they gave us Jonathan. So we have to choose between the two they gave us. Am I talking to somebody here? Like, we forget the concept of choice. That we choose that indecision is a decision itself. Indecision is a decision to not decide. And we forget that. So why did I say that I want to live the kind of life, I want to create the kind of world I want to live in? I don't want anybody giving me anything. I want to take what I want. And everybody here has a right to. Look, you want to be a billionaire? Grab your checkbook, walk into the bank, tell them you want a checkbook. It's less than 7K. Let them bill it to your account. Go home, take the checkbook, write a billion naira. You will not go to jail. Write a billion naira, put it on your wall. Don't cash it, or you can go to jail for that one. It's do check. That one is do check. But what I'm saying is, start the dream process. Decide I'm going to have a choice. And I started to do this. I have a 2-year-old son. My son's name is Yagazie. When they gave birth to him, I went to the registry where they registered him and said, look, I want to put an exclamation mark on my child name. His name is Yagazie with an exclamation mark. It's a very strange name. I want him to wake up every day knowing that, look, let them, when they call your name, let them call you with audacity. Let them know your brand. Because that's how I got here. It's called Xavier. I will walk into a place, if the door is locked, literally, I don't understand that a door is locked. Break it down. It's a state of mind. It's audacity, because the universe is designed to respect people that are audacious. Look, you said Donald Trump, whether you like him or not, he became the American president. First time he applied for a government role, he saw audacious. The first application was president, and he got it. I don't know if that makes sense. He first start from local assistant to local government chairman. But look, he can dream. Nobody goes to jail for dreaming. Am I talking to somebody in this room? It's so important, because the concept of dream says you can't feature in a future you cannot picture. So just draw the picture. The bigger the picture, the better for you. And I have discussion all the time. Like, everybody around me, I'm trying to infect them with it, because I want to create the kind of world I want to live in, and I think other people that are audacious will change the whole thing. Right? So now we understand how important dream is. Let's now look at the steps to dreaming. I'm not even looking at the slide because of time, right? And I wish I was going to tell the story of the El Mane gods and the other guy, right? But there isn't a lot of time about people not understanding how important this dream thing is. I think he's Christopher Lagan. An interesting story, because sometimes we think that the most important thing, we don't know what the most important thing is. Basically, we're saying first things first. The first things first is have a dream. Some people think there are other things. So some people think it's intelligence first, because the story was about people who have been very intelligent but didn't have dreams. Matter of fact, this guy is the direct opposite of this guy. Right? This guy, well, we've been recorded, so I'm very careful. Is someone I have some relationship with, and I've heard the stories. I've heard his mentor tell me a story. I'm like, it can't be Tony Elumelu. How a guy walked into a bank. Standard. The bank was called All States Trust. All States Trust Bank is Banigo, one of my best friends' dad. He was very, very, very wealthy, still one of the wealthiest Nigerians. I mean, growing up as kids, we'd go to their house in VI and we'd see some people hanging around the gatehouse, waiting for him to wake up. You know, when you're that rich, that people's destiny is dependent on when you wake up, right? You know, and I can tell you this for a fact. Some of those people, one of those people that used to sit down, I saw sitting down waiting for him to wake up, became a president in this country. So this guy, Banigo told us a story one time. So that's how well he was, but that's not the point. He told us a story about one time there was a vacancy for All-State Trust Bank, and then they had a criteria to get in. I think you must have a 2-1 to apply. You know that thing they do in jobs? You must have a 2-1. And then everyone came with their envelopes with CVs and a certificate 2-1. And then this guy walks in and I sat down and they interviewed other people. And then they told the guy he's not qualified because he didn't make a 2-1. And you know, just when he was about to leave, the guy was very audacious. And just Banigo just says, wait a second, can you tell? Yeah, he says, wow. He says, I think I'll end with this. I'm going to take a step. But he says, sorry, just curious. Why, like me saying, like I said now that to work in Xavier, you must make a first class. Then somebody walks in with maybe a 3rd class. I'm like, just to chase, just before I go, I say, come, wait first, come. Wait till give you mind to come here. Because did you not read it? You know, just out of curiosity. The guy turned around and said, thank you for this opportunity. He starts to sell himself. And people start to have goosebumps. That guy today, Tony. I says, you know, this guy says, so why do you think we should give you the job? Where do you, this guy, do I go to I said, where do you want to be? You know that thing they ask in interviews. So tell me, where do you want to be in the next 10 years? You know that question they ask people. Where do you want to be in 10 years? If you've been to tell me the other question. Guess what Ogaton said to the MD of the company and the board in interview? So where do you want to be in 10 years? He pointed. Guess where he was pointing? The seat of the MD. True story. But look, I heard this story like 10 years ago, and then I heard it of recent, because I'm one of the mentors on the Toneli Melu Foundation board, right? Now, I heard the story in one of the Toneli Melu Foundation event, and this time it was told by the other side, the guy. Because I haven't heard the story from the owner of the company saying that this young guy that came, and then I heard the guy say the same story, correlation, consistency, that this is actually what happened, and the same thing the guy said. So where do you want to be? He said 10 years, so just in case we didn't hear you. They looked at me and said like, sorry, what are you talking about? He said, MD. I was like, The Banigo looked at them and smiled and said, I like this guy, let's hire this guy. To cut the long story short, who is Tony today? He's past even the MD. He eventually grew up, moved from our state, went to Standard, bought over Standard Bank, that's what it was called, Standard, and became UBA. Standard Trust, became UBA, became MD, now he's chairman. Nobody goes to jail for dreaming. So how big can you dream? So here are the steps to dreaming, right? So first thing first, exposure. Because you can't feature in the future, you cannot picture. It's your environment that creates your dream, let's be honest. You cannot stay here and want to do Elon Musk's dream. Because I'm sure Elon Musk at a very young age, he must have watched NASA. They might have carried an excursion to NASA. Right? It's hard if you have never been on a plane for you to dream of building a plane. Let's understand it. Even the greatest dreamer, who was Nostradamus, if you know the story, when he saw the plane crash, the 9/11, almost centuries before, he couldn't even recognize the airplane. He said an iron bird was going to hit through so he called the iron bird because there wasn't a plane at that point. So it's your function of your exposure. So there's a reason why we could have done this training in, not to discount any brand, in Mama Cass. But we're here. So you can start to see that it's normal. This is, we used to do funny side jokes just a few years ago about Dr. Stevie. Dr. Stevie likes hotel, you know, Dr. Stevie likes premium. But guess what? I'm thinking about it, I'm like, damn, I should have just followed him then. Right? Because every time you start to see what looks extraordinary, after a while it stops being extraordinary, it becomes ordinary. It happens with boy girl. Right? You saw this babe one time, like, oh my God, this is the best that's happened. Marry and keep her for house. It's other people tell that your wife will fine, no? After a while, you almost forget, except you have the discipline to remind yourself, and it happens the other way around. Let me tell you, the funny thing is like, you saying that, for you to make, I know people who think that for you to make 1 billion naira, you must do blood money. Matter of fact, I've left that WhatsApp group since. I have siblings, I have cousins who, I know, 1 billion, okay. Right? So, because it's not normal. You know why? Because I've hung around I know 20-year-olds who are not doing Yahoo, who are doing $20 million projects. If you put that in Naira, that's over $1 billion. Do we get it? Exposure. So first thing you want to do after today is make a list of things you should be exposed to. Have a mentor that's a billionaire. You want to sell 1 billion naira property. Matter of fact, when Mr. Tim was saying 20 billion is the ultimate goal, 2 billion, you should be telling yourself, how can I make 1 billion out of that 2 billion? The remaining people can share the remaining 1 billion. I don't know if...
So what does that mean? Find somebody, this is the nice way for them to say my time is up.
Right, but find somebody who already making 1 billion effortlessly. A client of mine told me something that was deep last week. I told my wife, I went to my tour, I said, damn, the guy was having a question. I was telling him about something about how he's becoming very forgetful. He was also talking about how as you grow older, you get more forgetful. Get this, that. Something happened like 3 weeks ago that was really funny. I said, what? The guy said, he had done one deal, somebody had given him money, right? You know, this kind of money they give you like, buy fuel for your tank. You know, that kind of deal. You know, buy, you know how when somebody comes to your house, you say, take for Uber, I can give him like 20K. Even though you know Uber is not 20K. You know, just, you know that thing they say, buy fuel. They gave him money, that the money was in a Ghana must go. That he just asked, like, how much is it? It says about 43 million naira. He put it in the back of his car, drove home, kept it in the house, didn't remember for about 3 weeks. That's what I was talking about, forgetfulness. There was one day, I was just like, wait a second. I haven't gone out with this particular color of car. Like, please, call this security guy. I said, please, check. There's one thing inside that car. Check. Just let me know if he's there. He says, okay, they're there. He said, no problem. That's the question was having with me. You know, just like question, I just laughed over it. I came back, I told my wife, I said, imagine that somebody forgot for 3 million. In his car. My wife made it worse by telling me, you know the equivalent. I said, no. He said, it's the equivalent of your washing clothes and you forget money in your back pocket. You know how you wash clothes, forget money in back pockets? I don't know if, you know, you can wash money, forget, is when you want what to wear. That's true. The money, he said, that's how rich that person is. Find somebody like that in your circle, especially in real estate. 2, find a mentor. 3, in that your vision, try not to make your vision about money, even though we're talking a lot about money. Make your vision about something bigger. The universe hates selfish people. Darwin's theory of evolution still works. You know, the ecosystem is designed to take out any animal that overhunts. Don't overhunt. So make this vision about, let me tell you this, and let me close with this. And I said this yesterday, that because of my work, over 128 businesses, some of these guys run multi-billion-naira businesses, my clients. I see a correlation. It looks like all the rich people I know came from the same parents, even though they are from different walks of life, different continents. They seem to talk about something deeper than themselves. And Dr. Stephen said it now, if you paid attention. What exciting is what we're doing after. Giving people money to go to school because he couldn't go to school. It wasn't about the fact that he could probably have a Rolls Royce now if he wanted a Rolls Royce. And there's nothing wrong with him still having a Rolls Royce. But that's not what drives him. That's just what he drives. What drives you? It has to be deeper. At that point, the universe folds its sleeves literally and say, now this guy gets it. Let's talk about the technicals. Thank you. God bless you.